Besides being a very talented pianist and accompanist and choral director and well-rounded musician, our accompanist, Carl Rondina, is also a composer. So our next piece, We Three Kings, is being debuted this evening for our first public audience, and we hope you enjoy it. Carl, I have to say, it's wonderful having Carl here with me, as well as two other friends, two other very well-respected and revered choral directors from our area, Mr. Andy Dakota and Mr. Barry Lowell as well. Good friends and mentors. They all keep me on my toes, obviously. Between the four of us, we probably have about 160 years worth of choral conducting.
Love. morning, everybody. As Cliff takes a sip of his Sprite Zero, it's Friday, December 26th, 2024. The weather, the high today, generally sunny, despite a few afternoon clouds, high of 41 degrees, winds light and variable, humidity 59%, and UV index of 1 of 11. 1 of 11, so you can't get a suntan with that.
I was thinking that's my line.
Sunrise
That's why she locked me
will
out.
be at 7:14 a.m. Yes, I locked Cliff out this morning, and I didn't even realize it. And I apologize, Cliff.
So how was your drive in, Eileen? Was it a dry road, wet road? What kind of road?
Yeah, it was dry, but when I woke up this morning, I had an alert that tomorrow between 4 a.m. and 1 p.m. we're supposed to get some pretty gnarly weather. I'm going to send it to you, John, because I've never seen that type of advisory. I took a picture of it.
Gnarly weather tomorrow.
I've never seen that on the weather forecast.
No.
Tomorrow, gnarly.
8% of
Partly
chance
gnarly.
of snow overnight. So, in 537, the second Hagia Sophia in Constantinople is consecrated. John, you've been to Hagia Sophia, haven't you? In
I'll say yes because I know it's on Earth, but I don't know where it is, Cliff.
Istanbul.
Oh yeah, Istanbul's nice.
The Blue Mosque, beautiful building.
It's ancient. I would not say, in its day, it was really, really nice. It smells like dirty feet.
Well, it's like 1,500 years old.
Well,
why.
they'd be a lot better off saying, you know what, keep your feet covered, because the place smells like dirty feet. But yes, we went there. There's two big temples there.
Yeah.
Gigantic. Structurally, very sound, needing a good American maintenance man to clean the place. You look up at the chandeliers and there's cobwebs there from the haunted house of Disney. They're old,
True.
but a good experience to go. What happened there?
No, this is just the anniversary of its consecration back in 537 AD.
Did they bring up during the consecration that let's keep the place nice and clean?
Apparently not.
Yeah, sad.
Is that your phone?
That's my phone.
And
I
that's your
love it.
ringtone?
It's probably his wife.
John, did you get that in Messenger, the weather alert that I got this morning? Because
Okay.
Oh, and Messenger? Okay, I was looking at my text. No, I don't have Facebook up yet.
Okay.
1657, the Flushing Remonstrance articulated for the first time in North American history, freedom of religion is a fundamental right. So this was in New York. In 1814, the War of 1812, the destruction of the schooner USS Carolina brings an end to Commodore Patterson's makeshift fleet, which fought a series of delaying actions that in the end contributed to Andy Jackson's victory at the Battle of New Orleans. Remember Andy Jackson, right?
Yes. That's
Andrew
what his friends
Jackson.
called him, yeah.
He's on the $5 bill.
$20 bill.
Who was Andy married to?
Mrs. Jackson.
Yeah, Mrs. Jackson. I think he was a widow.
And didn't that inspire the song, The Battle of New Orleans?
He lost his
Yeah.
wife? That's sad.
Who sang that? Johnny Horton?
Can't remember.
It was
Fit
Johnny
the
Horton.
Battle of New Orleans.
Johnny
Speaking
Horton.
of money, I still think that we should make a $25 bill and that we should put the spouses of the current president on there.
Well, now that's a
Why?
record. He's held that idea for a week now.
Yeah.
Well, it's an odd number, right? 25, and it's the spouse who really helps the man who is the president who runs the world. So she deserves some credit.
She wouldn't be there if it
I
wasn't for him,
richly
though.
agree. And if the president is not married, the president's mother.
I like that. Well, what we saw, so I got my son, he loves $2 bills. So I got him a bunch of $2 bills for one of his Christmas gifts. And although I was showing my mom, and she was saying that Fox News, they have like a ceremonial $2 bill with Donald Trump on it, and it's official and signed. She's like, you should get those for Anthony. And I was like, okay, Mom.
I bought four for four of my grandchildren, $28 a piece.
I like that.
So,
I think I went overboard because I wanted to make it fun for Anthony to like open them.
yeah.
And then he has $51 bills. I mean, $2. I mean, not 50, 25 $2 bills.
Did you see where a couple of years ago some kid tried to pay for his school lunch with a $2 bill and got put in detention?
Oh my God. Well, it's funny because he ended up using it
Yeah?
at Dunkin' Donuts to tip the girl, right?
Yeah.
And the girl was like, can we even take this? Like, they don't think it's real money.
Because people
know.
are stupid.
Well, there is that too. In 1831, Charles Darwin embarks on his journey aboard the USS Beagle, during which he began to formulate his theory of evolution, which,
Do you believe in evolution, Cliff? Or are you creationist? Can
Yes.
the two coincide with each other?
yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
One of the bad sides of evolution is it led to the Holocaust.
Led to the Holocaust.
Believing
So-
that one race.
Because, evolution, perfecting the race, the
Yeah, but that was-
idea of...
That was just pure evil, though. Yeah, I don't think. I mean,
But they got it from the U.S., and the U.S. Emphasis on eugenics.
Hey, Cliff, you being my favorite aviator, this is in the Wayback Machine. I know you like the Wayback Machine, and it's in Nornhorn, 1945. And as you've probably already found out, these are Focke-Wulf's nickname. Well, they're called the 190s. What's with the squiggly thing on the front of the engine? What's the kick that the aviators get out of having a squiggly thing on the front of the plane?
I think it's a cue
Think or you know?
I'm thinking, not knowing. I'm thinking it's a cue to the ground crew because the propeller is spinning.
Yeah, so the Germans hire deaf people.
Well, there's a lot of noise going on the flight line.
My cousin's boyfriend's going to school to be a pilot, and it takes a long time. A lot of schooling.
looked like one of those drones over New Jersey.
So I'll leave it as we don't know. Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. So, you remember Oliver Wendell Holmes, who was a justice, wrote the finding in, I think it was Buck versus Bell, in which he agreed it was okay to sterilize a woman. He had some sort of line like 3 generations of idiots is enough.
Wow. It's pretty harsh.
It's pretty harsh.
So I'm going to back up the bus a little bit here. And Eileen's got this text she sent me. It's the winter weather advisor. You got this on your phone, Eileen?
Yeah, well, I clicked on it. It was just from the weather app, I think most of us have on the iPhone, but then I clicked on it as the notification, and this is what come up. I don't think I ever remember seeing that. Possible threat to life or property, 4 a.m., December 28th. Freezing, rain suspected, total ice accumulation around a light glaze. I mean, I just feel like we get that type of weather in the winter frequently here. And I just don't know what's so bad about that one, this one.
Weather people seem to enjoy embellishing the weather.
The weather guessers, as Cliff states.
So,
Do you have-
thank you.
I was just looking. Yeah.
I don't know if I've just never clicked on it, or
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, every time we have weather like that, it's a threat to life or property. If you're, I was telling John on the way in, I got into a car accident because the roads were a little slick. And luckily the guy didn't want to, not luckily, the guy didn't want to exchange papers, so we just,
Good.
patted each other on the back and went our own way, so.
In 1927, Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein's musical Showboat, considered to be the first true American musical play, opened at the Ziegfeld Theater on Broadway. I think one of the things interesting about Showboat is it actually had in the cast, as part of the actors, a interracial couple, which I think was
Actually, in that
Pretty-
year, yeah. No, that was in New York City?
Yeah.
Broadway, yeah. In fact, today also, I think, is the anniversary of the day that Radio City Music Hall opened. I think that was
Yep.
1932. Saw the Rockettes back in the 90s. They're a great Christmas spectacular. If you ever get a chance to go, check it out.
1929, Soviet General Secretary Joseph Stalin ordered the liquidation of the kulaks as a class.
Yep.
They managed to bag a couple
Bunch of
million
peasants.
people. Yeah. That's terrible. Marilyn Dietrich was born this day in 1901.
Marilyn or Marlene?
Marlene.
Oh, okay. See.
1919, Charles Sweeney was born. He was the aircraft commander for the second nuclear weapon, the one on Nagasaki. 1946, Polly Toynbee was born. 1981, Hoagie Carmichael passed away. And in 2016, Carrie Fisher, who we all remember from
Star Wars.
Star Wars. And in the Eastern Orthodox Church, today is St. Stephen's Day. In the Western Church, it was yesterday, or Boxing Day, as it's sometimes called. So, our guest is John Curtis, formerly of Lowell and now of Methuen, right?
Yes, by way of Drake.
How is Methuen?
It's a nice area. I like it up there. I wish I was a little closer to this area instead of being over by the Loop, but I think they just reopened the AMC movie theater at the Loop. It had been closed down for about a month due
Because
to
of rats.
infestation. Yeah,
I think all of Methuen, all our schools made new
schools too in
Center
Methuen,
5.
yeah.
And we had to change all the routines for snack. Everybody has to eat in the cafeteria now, not in the classrooms. I guess it's pretty infested. And I swear sometimes in my room, in my little classroom, it's infested. And I feel sick often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's weird because as soon as I leave, I'm okay.
the
But
thing about it at the movie theater, I went maybe 2 months ago to see a movie there, and place is so empty. You put your feet
Yeah.
up on the seat in front of you. You don't have to worry about the rats running around at your feet anyways. But I think there was one other person in the whole theater when I went
yeah,
to
it's not very busy. It's
No,
a nice.
I'm surprised they haven't died out totally.
Is movies going away, you think?
I think the ones where people actually go out to the cinema, I mean, it was, first the drive-ins. I know that they're few and far between now. So I think at some point with Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these, movies where movies are going directly to them right away.
So that's it, where do you take your armchair? We drove by, on our way out to Christmas celebration out in Chelmsford that we went to for Christmas. Going out the connector, my wife says, boy, the movie theater parking lot's packed.
Oh, really?
So it's still,
At times.
when I would want to take my girlfriend out and she has a family, well, he's going to take me to the movies.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just to
Used to be the
spend
drive-in.
some private time with my
I
girlfriend.
know. I took my girlfriend once to the drive-in. Spent the whole night trying to find out what car she was in. But it's another story.
We went to go see, last Friday, we went to Showcase, and Anthony and I went to go see Sonic 3, which is a very cute movie. And although he got a Sonic cup for his drink, $24.99. I was like, oh!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like that everywhere. The prices, the concession prices are,
It's so expensive to go out. You can almost see why a lot of people don't really go out anymore.
Who doesn't sneak food into the theater?
Well,
I
yes,
don't.
we didn't. But
You don't have any candy in your pocket?
No.
my niece.
Well, you don't go to the movies, right, Cliff?
I've been to the movies.
What, in this century?
Yes.
Wow.
On the other hand, some of the movie production operations are trying to kill movies, I think.
Yeah.
Disney trying to make Star Wars woke and trying to make other things woke, I think turns off the audience.
What's in your mind, Cliff? Would you define for the audience what you mean by the word woke? And don't say you know, because I don't. Please.
You don't?
There you go.
I'm shocked. In my mind, woke is an effort to move beyond our traditional understandings of things and introduce new understandings of things. For instance, the idea of transgender males to females playing on female sports teams.
Yes, but also
That's woke?
it wasn't woke.
Yeah, that's woke.
My understanding is woke developed from the Black Lives Matter movement to make people aware of the struggles of black people. That's my understanding, and it just got kind of taken over to everything else.
So
Yeah, I
it's-
think
it's
Cliff is a
for
little
black
bit-
people. Woke is for black people?
I don't know.
Used to be.
no.
At one point, but
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. The Happy New Year's celebration in 2024, on January 1st of 2025, Cliff, what will the word woke mean? Not yesteryear. New Year's Day 25, what does woke mean to the
I
United States?
think that woke will mean, woke will mean attempts to reinterpret our relationships, interpersonal, to put emphasis on things like transgenderism, the gay and lesbian movement as representing a larger percentage of the population than it does, and suppression of older forms of morality and interaction.
I think it's,
Mr. Curtis, what do you think woke in 2025,
Yeah.
January 1st, not when you were a kid?
no,
What does woke mean?
to me, I define it as a radical form of liberalism, an extreme liberal viewpoint. I don't think it goes beyond
Well,
gay and
excuse me.
lesbian, yeah.
Here's where we run into a problem, John, because definitions need definitions.
Yeah.
I would say progressive, not liberal.
Well, you had your turn. It's
No,
Yeah.
but I don't see anything
having
wrong with the word
interaction.
progressive. I think progressive is actually a positive word. I think when you go beyond, I mean, I think if you take it beyond, it's more about, gay and lesbian, everybody say, well, more people are out now, there's more. I mean, it's a different world. I mean, people aren't afraid to come out now.
You still on woke? Are you
What's
still
that?
on- You still on
Yeah,
woke?
still on woke. I think woke can go, you can define it by saying what we've talked about before in the show about people who don't belong in certain positions being appointed that position just because they're a certain race or gender. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Putting someone in a, like we talked about these airline pilots, or even someone like Kamala Harris, who clearly wasn't qualified to be next in line for the presidency, but she was. I mean, I think especially in our government, we're leaning towards a form of kakistocracy, which I'm sure you know is government led by morons. And so, yeah, I just think it's a radical form of liberalism where we.
My takeaway from your
far.
explanation is very fuzzy.
Okay.
Eileen, what does the word, in 2025, January 1st, in your mind, what does woke mean?
I just believe it's waking people up to not everybody has the same views, and realizing that we need to be understanding of where people are at. That's really what I take away from it.
All right, well, thank you for your explanation. Going off to Google.
Well, wait.
Hey,
Your English teacher is going to be very upset
And my book,
with the use of the
do I have
word
to shut
act.
your mics off or what?
John, we're discussing over here.
I'm finishing.
Join the show.
I'm finishing up here.
Join the show.
I helped publish a book that's coming out in 2025 too.
Woke.
We have the Google.
No one has a definition of woke. Here, I asked Google, the smartest search engine on the planet,
Google's evil.
woke meaning. Look at all the there's no Encyclopedia Britannica telling you what woke is. Oh, here's Wikipedia. Finally, we get to dictionary.com. They want to change it to awake. So woke is a very wobbly word. It doesn't seem to really have a real definition. So I'll try Wikipedia and see what it has to say.
Well, that's nice of you.
Do they want my money?
Yes?
Everybody does. They want your money too. And woke, the African American English synonym for general American English word awake. Since the 1930s. No, woke wasn't around 1930. This is baloney.
No, it's not baloney.
All righty.
Now, read this paragraph.
Beginning in 2010s, it became used to refer to a broader awareness of social inequalities such as racial justice, sexism, denial of LGBT rights. Woke also has been used as shorthand for some ideas of the American left involving identity politics, social justice, white privilege, reparations for slavery in the United States. Interesting point on reparations for slavery. Slave owners, former slave owners are looking for reparations too. They had to free people that they bought. Are they going to get reparations too, the slave owners?
No.
That's out there.
No one should be given reparations.
So woke, very wobbly word.
Yeah, the bar has moved. I mean, in the 1960s, you could use the word woke to describe the civil rights movement, but the bar has been moved. It means a whole different thing now. Now we're talking about reparations for families of former slaves who were never slaves to begin with. I mean, the people now. So to give them money for what their forefathers suffered through, I mean, I think that's definitely a form of wokeness.
Yeah. So if we're going to give them reparations, should we give reparations to immigrants coming over from Eastern Europe who were probably at a disadvantage versus the freed slaves of 1865?
Well, likely when they got freed, they went back home to Africa.
No. A few went back home to the country of Liberia.
Liberia, that's where all the slaves came from?
No,
It's Africa.
Oh,
but it was a place created in Africa in the 1800s for returning slaves to go to.
all righty. Well, luckily we have some texts.
Oh, that's too bad.
Too bad.
Yeah.
That means we got an audience, so. Good morning. How does Mr. Curtis feel about the two remaining Pats games? Las Vegas over, under was 4.5 games. Will they win in Las Vegas? That's from Jay.
Will they win the last two? No, they're going to lose the final two games.
I always thought when it was Jay, it was you.
No.
And second, we got the second text here. You don't have to go to the movies. Everything is just a click away.
Pretty much.
From the same texter, he says, get out of bed. And then I got a guy chastising me about Wikipedia. John, you always use Wikipedia, the most unreliable source of the internet. Well, let me just back that up for a second here. Here is the woke thing I just explained to everybody. I went to Google and I asked Google for the woke meeting. And I could have went to, everybody knows what perplexity is, never heard of it before today. They seem to be in Australia. It says AI. I don't know what AI is. Cliff will give it a wild guess. Then we have Story Heights Church. Nah. Ed Young. Everybody knows Ed Young. I'm going to click on Ed Young. I don't think so. Principle-based politics. And when I saw Wikipedia, that was the only one I ever heard of before. So before this morning, have anybody over there ever heard of principlebased-politics.org?
No.
No.
Okay. EdYoung.com. Story
John,
Heights Church. Never heard of anything.
Why didn't you just go to DuckDuckGo?
I don't use DuckDuckGo. I use Google.
Okay, that raises the further question. Why do you use Google instead of DuckDuckGo?
Gives me much more of a search field. When you scroll down here, it's going to have hundreds. I can go to page 6. DuckDuckGo doesn't give me that luxury. DuckDuckGo, when you look up stuff, doesn't give you the variety of choices that I need to have here. How about Gracie
And
Daly in
don't
the
use.
UK? What does the term woke, actually, over in the UK, they describe this. So, back to you. Just making my point. That was the first
Okay.
one I saw I recognized.
Going back to Christmas. Eileen, do you have a big dinner for Christmas?
Yes. Lots of chicken parm and linguine and olive oil and garlic.
Who
Yep.
all showed up?
My aunt, my uncle, my sister, Diana, her boyfriend, my cousin, Cassidy, her boyfriend Patrick, who's going to school to be a pilot. Me and Anthony, my nephew, my brother,
Where is he going to school to be a pilot?
somewhere in Rhode Island. I don't
Ah.
really know. We just say, "Are you a pilot yet?" And what airline are you going to work for? And he says American because they have the best benefits and international benefits.
Oh. So, how'd you do, John?
Christmas?
Chris.
Just another day.
Just another
Well,
day.
you know, for someone like me, I'm not married, I'm not seeing anybody at the moment. I think once my mom passed away in 2016, and my father had passed in the late 90s, it takes on a different meaning. I mean, we don't have the family
Yeah.
get-togethers. My sister lives in Nashua, and she's a nurse, so she was actually, I believe, working Christmas Day, so normally we would go to her house. But, no, I just stayed in with, my dog, and we hung out.
Oh yeah,
John.
my dog was there too.
Did you have a big meal for Christmas?
Well, it's a 3-version story, so I'll make the camera go on to me.
3 version.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, went to my wife's sister's house. Her name's Peachy and Steve. They live up in Belvedere. And there's like 100 people go to her party. Huge event. Santa comes. All the kids love it. And then there's a big feed bag. Tastiest food you're going to find that night. We had a great time that day. Then we went to midnight mass over at St. Anthony's. And they did a nice job over there. Then we get up Christmas, and we went to my niece's house out in Chelmsford. And Shayla and her husband is Christian, and they live in a 300-year-old house. It's 100 years older than this place. What a magnificent building. And I didn't go up there, but I'm told the attic, they actually have trees holding up the roof. The bark is still on the wood. The tree, they cut a tree, they didn't take the bark off, they just used the tree to support the roof. I didn't get up, my brother Mark was telling me that it's his daughter's house, and that was a delicious time. And we're going to celebrate Christmas this Saturday with my immediate family, so with Ellen and my 2 kids and my sister-in-law, so that's going to be Saturday. So Christmas continues.
Ah.
What about you, Cliff?
Eileen, you sent me this.
Yeah, that's my book. I thought it was coming out
You wrote this
year.
book?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did that for Britannica, Little Experts. I did a little biography for something. I don't know what it was, but they have all the rights to it anyway.
Is that the cover?
Yeah,
What's
but
your name?
well, it was Britannica. So I have
That's her maiden name, Britannica.
all the sketches But they pay you a stipend to do it, and then you lose all rights to it. But I keep checking when it's coming out, and it was supposed to be the summer of 2025. That's why when John was talking about January 2025, I thought, my book's coming out, but it keeps getting pushed back, I think because of the material that it needs, because it's a spiral bound, and it's a dry erase book, a spiral. But yeah, I keep checking it out, because I think I did it in 2021 or 2022.
Wow. Britannica's slow.
Yeah, and I think I think because of the COVID factor, there was backup, and then, wait, what you?
Little experts. Pretty cool. Congratulations, Eileen.
Thank you. I'll keep you updated when it's finally
Alrighty.
coming out.
Sell the
Okay.
movie rights.
Oh, so yeah, we had roast beef. One of the grandchildren was up and had a nice meal about 1 o'clock, and then we all took naps.
1 o'clock. That seems like the time. That's the time.
Did you get a good, any nice presents, Eileen?
Yes, my son got me a nice shirt, a nice hoodie. What else? I got a couple of like little gifts, but yeah, it was good.
Anything, John?
I'm an atheist. I got coal in my stocking.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got a beautiful dark-colored long-sleeve sports shirt. I was going to wear it to the show, but my fashion advisor said
Too flashy.
I shouldn't do that, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Did you get any gifts, John?
Yes, I did. Mostly foodstuffs, because they know I like to eat. Got a nice thing of popcorn.
Speaking of food,
Very happy.
a staple of the Merrimack, well, not the Merrimack Valley, but the Little Draycote area closed down China Maxim over on Lakeview Avenue. You familiar with China Maxim?
Oh, yeah.
Tennis Court Plaza, where the
No, I
sports
just
zone
know
is.
the-
It's across from the Loci.
Loci is the only one I know.
Yeah, it's right across from the Loci. It's been around for
Been
years.
tons of political parties at the Loci.
Yeah, they closed, and a new place, the White Lotus, it said Pan-Asian food, whatever that is. I'm not sure. I was going to look that up, what Pan-Asian means, but
We got two texts here. Congratulations, Eileen. I hope you have great success with your book.
Thanks.
Page 2, Grand Slam Big Red Dog. Duck, duck, go. You're on fire today.
Thank you very much.
Duck, duck, go.
So, anybody have any spiritual insights about Christmas?
It's the most wonderful time of the year. What was the song you want me to play?
White Christmas. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
I'll go off to YouTube and find that.
Good, because that's the next item on the agenda after we talk about the New York Times trying to slam Christmas again this year.
I got a very generous gift card to Market Basket too, which helped with my family's meal. So yeah.
That was very nice.
Yes, that was very nice.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you, John.
And I got a note that John's Christmas present is en route. I don't know, has it arrived yet, John?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think any deliveries were
was-
happening yesterday on the property.
Yeah. Apparently, they couldn't find the property the first time out, so I didn't quite understand that.
Was it Amazon?
No. It was Mary C.
Mary C.
So, White Christmas, who's going to be singing it, Cliff?
Bing Crosby.
Bing.
This is apparently the best-selling song of all time, at least modern times.
Now, what'll happen? Facebook will kick me off, so I can't give you that much, but I can only give you like 15 seconds.
That'll be good.
But I might have the Drake choir still singing here.
Cliff could
Let's see
just
what
sing it.
Yeah, you want me to
Pipes,
just
you want
sing
to
it?
sing it, sure.
No.
You've heard him sing?
Well,
I'm going to
I
click this
mean-
guy here and see what happens. You guys won't be able to hear it, but
In Canada's Northwest Territories, natural diamonds were formed so pure and so real.
Copyright.
the public access people hate it when we run ads. But we're not getting paid. It just makes it look like we're getting paid, but they're not. We're not. Here we go.
Well, given that we can't hear it anyway.
Dreaming of a white Christmas.
And that's all I can play. Sorry.
I preferred his duet with David Bowie, a little drummer boy.
If it gets to 15 seconds, that's when Facebook gets mad.
Okay. So anyway, a great song came out just for us, the beginning of World War II, very popular with the GIs. But there's a backstory that I didn't know until the other day. The person who wrote it, Irving Berlin, he and his wife had a baby, Irving Jr., in 1929. And on Christmas Day of
Happy Thursday,
1929,
December 26th.
they lost their 3.5-week-old baby at 5 a.m. in the bassinet. Irving Berlin's daughter said that today would characterize it as a SIDS death.
Okay.
So
That's horrible.
Irving Berlin writes this wonderful Christmas song, but he hates Christmas. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Pretty good reason.
Yep,
It was happy, that was happy, and then just brought us right down.
yep.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
I mean, I
Speaking
never
of,
know what to expect with you, Cliff.
that's what to expect. So, anything happened over the week with regard to Karen Reed and Sandra Birchmore?
No, it's all been quiet on that front.
That's good.
Yeah, the Reed trial is postponed until April 1st, I want to say, and not sure. Everyone's waiting to see if the U.S. Department of Justice will come forward before the trial in April. Josh Levy?
Yeah.
Question for you, Cliff, from the audience. A question for Mr. Krieger. Was the down plane shot down, in his opinion?
Yes.
I don't know what down plane you're talking about.
What does that mean?
Well, I think it was an umbrella, and it was shot down
Oh, the
in
jet liner.
Eastern Europe.
You have jet, yesterday, yeah, or
Yeah.
2 days ago.
That it had originally been going to one airport and got diverted to another, and then a missile was fired, hit it in the tail, and some survived, some didn't. About 50-50. So the question is, how are we going to do the investigation? I expect it was inadvertent. It was like that F-18 got shot down. A U.S. F-18 got shot down in the Red Sea by a U.S. warship. Somebody made a mistake, bad call. And fortunately, the aircrew got out.
And nobody got fired.
I don't know yet. My expectation is that likely someone will get fired.
Well, the term you use for get fired, what I mean is, whoever did it should be dishonorably discharged from the service with 0 benefits. When you say fired, we just kicked them out. They went to work someplace else for the United States Air Force. That's fired in your book. Correct?
Yeah.
But they're not fired. They lose
In
position.
your mind.
They lose position.
In your mind.
They kept their, look at Cliff.
They lost their position.
They took
were
out your-
fired from their
They
position.
took out your whole family. The price they pay should be higher. That's just what I think. Don't make me president.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that.
Everyone's going to get fired. You'll be like the Donald
Victor-
Trump.
consequence.
You're
Victor
fired.
David
You're
Hansen
fired.
brought this up, and we're going to talk about it.
But-
Some handsome guy wrote a note. to
I
me.
know, I said Victor Davis Hansen.
Okay, I can
You
go,
don't know who that is?
I can go around the whole road. Just a second now. Let's ask the smarter people. John?
I don't.
Okay. Eileen?
No clue.
So nobody seems to care who this guy David Hanson is, Cliff.
No.
No, but what did he,
They don't know who he
They
is.
probably don't care either. But I'm listening
what
to
did he
you.
write?
Do you people not care about anything?
I do, I'd like to know more about him,
It's
though. I
just-
don't, maybe it'll ring a bell as to,
He's a professor out in California. He's got a,
Out in Crazy Land, yeah. Professor
he's
in Crazy
got
Land.
a wine,
Distillery?
no,
And he's a wino, okay.
he grows grapes.
Oh,
Maybe he can't.
And he's popular in some circles. But he explained why he thinks Tom Homan, have we heard of Tom Homan?
yes. He's the one in front of the Congress for making the rules, right, for the immigration policies. He's very strong-minded.
Yeah.
I
And
thought he made pizza at Espresso's.
No, he's Donald Trump's future border czar.
Yeah, he's very good. I've been watching a lot of the YouTube shorts, and he's come up on them. He's got a lot of experience, been through a lot. And why was he on, like, he was on trial with Congress for stuff?
No, he was just testifying.
Yeah, and they were throwing some tough questions at
Yeah.
him, and he was like a spitfire back.
So Victor David Hanson is talking about how he thinks Tom Homan is going to target major Democratic cities first for deportation. Quoting, so what Homan is doing is thinking, oh my gosh, who is the Admiral Bing of all these 600 jurisdictions that I have to encourage you? Admiral Bing?
There's just so much to care about with you, Cliff.
Anybody know Admiral Bing?
No.
heard the
John.
name. I've heard that, but I'm not exactly sure what it is.
You never
Thanks
heard of
for the name.
Admiral Bing? He was,
Admiral Bing Crosby, he just sang to
no,
us.
B-Y-N-G. British Admiral. He was in charge of relieving Mallorca during some war in the 1700s. And some of his ships got damaged, so he went back to Gibraltar. They court-martialed him for not being aggressive enough.
Cliff, back in those days, there was nothing else to do.
And then they executed him by firing squad. I thought he'd been suspended from the yardarm, but apparently he was shot.
Flashy dresser. Here he is,
Yeah.
Admiral Bing.
So Admiral Bing is the symbol for your approach to firing people.
So you say. Who was the other character you
So
brought
I
up?
say,
Oh, they has an artist version of the execution of Admiral Bing. Why do you need 6 guys?
because
Probably they don't want to know who actually killed them, right?
Yeah.
Like they do in modern day executions with the firing squad. They have like, what, 10 guys fire, so nobody knows which one has the actual loaded gun.
yeah.
Yeah. Just no one wants to take responsibility.
So it goes on. I know the most obnoxious, the most crazy, the most nullification advocate is our second largest city, Chicago, and the crazy mayor, Johnson. So it looks like 24 days hence that Tom Homan's going to go to Chicago and start deporting people. What do you think? I'm sorry, he goes on to say, so we're going to tell him first, you tried to stop the federal government and you think you're South Carolina in 1832, or you think that you're firing on Fort Sumter, you're going to regret it because you were breaking federal law, and we have a lot more federal laws that you would want us to follow in your interest than you do federal laws to break.
So Cliff, we got here a remark. Tom Holman will do what Kamala was supposed to do.
That wasn't her job.
Well,
She wasn't the border czar?
No, that was media made that up. She was
Is
never
that
actually
another
officially,
cheap fake?
have we,
she was never officially named the border czar.
who was the border czar during the Biden-Harris?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody.
I thought I heard audio of President Biden calling her the border czar. I know I heard that audio.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I said, she was very inept.
Turn the page.
Yeah. It's pretty soon. A few weeks later, we'll have the inauguration of President Musk.
Do you think President Biden's going to free the migrants? Forgive them? That'll really screw Trump's plans up.
So, I was watching interviews with Trump and he was talking about there are immigrants, and immigrants who migrated here, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the illegal immigrants that didn't do it the right way that they're really trying to target, and such as, they're killing Americans and setting people on fire. And I think
Well,
that,
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. That was an illegal immigrant re-entered.
yes, and it's just that we need more checks and balances.
Somebody loves you, John.
I
Bull
wish-
fertilizer, Mr.
I
Curtis.
wish they'd be specific in what they're talking about so I could respond, but
I think it's about the border czar. That's my
no,
guess.
that's fine.
So there wasn't a border czar during,
Wasn't it Mayorkas?
Oh, he's head of the Department of Homeland Security.
Right, so,
I've never heard of the border czar, I guess, before.
It's a Russian term.
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely something needs to be get under control. There's no doubt about that, but I mean, I think we're such a rich country, we could do both as far as...
Well, what do we do with the folks we flew in here? We got, in Massachusetts, we're going to get on to history for flying people up here with no papers and get off the plane and walk into the United States of America, and you pass by customs, immigration, they just all look the other way. How did that happen? I'm guaranteeing you, taxpayer money paid for the whole operation. And nobody knows, it's like the drones, nobody knows anything. But we have hotels filled with migrants. Do you think Trump will send them back? We flew them up here.
I don't believe that story.
Well, how do
We
you
don't
think they
believe
got
what
here?
story?
How do you think they got here? How do you think?
I think we know where they came from. They
Well,
didn't.
then
They
we-
didn't just get off the plane and they said, "We don't want to know where you're from, who you are." They just walked in. I mean,
They did. They lived at the airport for 2 months. You didn't see any of that on TV?
I don't watch much TV, but I did hear the stories, and I also heard some say that. I mean, people have been flying into this country for years. I mean, people
They
talk
go
about
through
people
immigration.
walking through.
You
yeah.
go through immigration and customs.
Yeah.
I've flown into this country myself a few times. And
Flown in by who?
myself.
No, who flies these illegal immigrants into the country?
Privately hired jet planes.
Right, but, so I mean specifically who? What
I
person?
don't, I
what
can't.
federal government.
Okay,
John,
right.
the little bit of research that I've done,
Yeah.
I can't find out, but all I can tell you is the folks who are living in the hotel in downtown Lowell
Yeah.
were flown up here.
Did they get a free flight?
Yes.
Jealous.
And why were they flown in here? Does anybody know?
Well, why did we pay for it? And the governor says she doesn't know anything about it.
And we're not a sanctuary state.
And who can tell a federal employee, don't inspect? Look the other way. Who can tell a federal, obviously, the president was involved.
No. How is that obvious?
For a federal agent, okay, you can't tell U.S. Customs what to do. You can't tell immigration what to do. They do their job.
Yeah. To what extent do we think the president was involved in these decisions, or was it a case of his staff guiding the Department of Homeland Security?
If the president was that removed that he didn't know, he had staff circumventing the system, he shouldn't be president. I'm confident the president knew. And typical politicians, they don't take questions. They're too busy.
Yeah, well. So, the people of Chicago are a little unhappy with their mayor, is my understanding. Has anybody else been following this?
No.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to watch in the first couple of months. So, John, Eileen, do you have any thoughts on the Magdeburg terrorist incident from a week ago?
Refresh
Where the guy
out,
drove
refresh.
his-
Was that the car
where,
and
where the
vehicle?
guy drove his rented BMW through the Christmas mart,
He should be publicly executed.
killed 5, injured 70?
Painful execution.
That happens.
In public.
Happens a lot. It's happened in this country, didn't it, a few years ago? I mean, probably under different circumstances, but we've had acts of terrorism with vehicles.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, cars can be weapons.
I think he
Should we
should.
ban cars?
Absolutely not.
What should we do with them, Cliff?
With them what, cars?
You brought up a story about a man, I think it's a man, drove his rented car into a crowd of people and killed them. What do you think we should do? What should we do with him?
We should give him a fair trial.
And when convicted, what do we do with him?
I don't know. What's the rules in Germany? Do they have the death penalty?
How many died?
5, including a 9-year-old boy.
And like 75, very injured.
So, we have people in the United States advocating we abolish the death penalty. Isn't that why President Biden commuted 37 death sentences down to life imprisonment?
If it were up to me, and it's not, things would be different. Got some text I'm going to read to you. They let them in to use for votes in the future. That's why President-elect Trump wants them out.
Well, they can't
Interesting.
vote.
Interesting comment. Well, John, you've heard, maybe you haven't,
Yeah.
the Boston Tea Party story.
Yes.
That was all about taxation without representation.
Yes, it was.
Everybody in the United States pays taxes.
They do.
Everybody does.
Even immigrants.
Taxes without representation, that's how we're going to let them be citizens.
Legal.
Well, the law
Everyone,
has to change.
everyone is rich with credit cards. Wake up. Why is our responsibility to hand out our hard-earned money to people who don't appreciate anything? Next text. I wouldn't call a $37 trillion debt as being rich. You can't print money into infinity. Well, we've been doing it your entire lifetime. That's the last text. Back to you guys.
No, the last time they did that was before our lifetime. Weimar, Germany.
No, the United States, Cliff.
Oh,
So Cliff, are you a proponent of the death penalty?
no.
Okay.
I am.
I'm not.
I want
Eileen?
painful public execution.
And what if these people are innocent?
Whoops.
Oh, we're okay.
So if the point is, like, they go in,
Wait, before you go on. If you're the executioner and it turns out they were innocent, should you be executed?
There'll be no more trials, Cliff. Once the person's executed, you can't bring the trial back up again. Done.
No, but you're talking about the person that did the executing.
Yeah.
Because he just killed an innocent person.
Yeah, he just killed an innocent
So then he
person.
should be killed.
Yep, they should kill me too.
well,
Sure, kill me too.
I think the facts, like, they have to be able to truly place that person at the scene of the crime. Like, you have to be able to see it. And then, I mean, like John's point is, what happens to the terrorist from Germany? Then they go into the system and the taxpayers are paying for his everything in the system for a long period of time. And is that fair after he just took 5 lives, including a 9-year-old child, that now we're paying for him to be in prison? So I guess,
It costs a lot of money to execute a prisoner, too.
But John, respectfully, if you put this painful public execution on television,
All right.
people will stop doing this stuff.
No, they won't.
it's 6:50.
It's over.
Death-
Six-
Well,
7 o'clock. Let's
we're
go
already
to the
in-
new show. Welcome to City Life. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. My co-host Eileen Delrossi, soon-to-be published author, and our guest John Curtis, in from the hinterlands, and our producer, of course, John McDonough. So, John, I saw a headline. Do you think the dominoes are falling over the Biden mental health cover-up? Do you think that people are getting a little concerned about being exposed on this? Should KJP be embarrassed about her cheap fakes line when she said, "Oh, that's not really President Biden having problems. That's just a cheap fake."
No, I think he is. I don't think it's been for the total 4 years he's been in office. I know the first 2 years he gave I thought, a really good State of the Union address. And you could see his faculties were declining, but in the last year and a half, I'd say it's fallen drastically. And I think the right thing would have been to resign and let Kamala take over as president. I mean, as inept as I think she is, she at least isn't going through dementia. But I think Biden's so mad at the Democratic Party right now that he's not going to do them any favors or anybody else. So he's just going to ride out the last few weeks. I think if he had done that, if he had resigned and let her take over, it might have even helped her somewhat in the election. I mean, as far as her being an incumbent president. But yeah, he's definitely. I think he's just going to stay on the beach for the next few weeks and. I mean, it's actually a dangerous situation for this country. I mean, we've got so many hot spots in this world to have a president that, he's got to depend on his underlings to make decisions. It's not the most ideal spot to put our country in.
So, Matt Margulis, a name most people probably don't know, cites Lindy Lee, who's a former Kamala fundraiser. She sort of lost it and ripped candidate Harris for wasting her money on oligarchs and billionaire Oprah Winfrey, and she ended up leaving the Democratic Party because they lit her money on fire. Mm-hmm. She said she was treated better by the Trump team than the Harris team, who bribed people like Al Sharpton with her money. So, and there's articles coming out, Wall Street Journal, Wash Post, the old gray lady. What do you think, Eileen?
I really don't know what you're talking about. Can you break it down into English for me?
President Biden,
Yes.
yeah.
What
Does
do I-
he have it together, or is he just in a haze?
Well, John was just saying, how he's so mad at the Democratic Party, and all I kept thinking when you said that is, do you think he can remember that he's mad at the Democratic Party every day? I don't know. I don't know where he's at. I think it would be interesting to be in his head because
Be awfully lonely.
he has so much experience and what goes into his head, what comes I don't know. You know what I mean? Is he mad? Why is he mad? I mean,
I think we have people on both sides jumping parties. People are leaving
Oh,
the
yeah.
Democratic Party, I can't blame them, and they're leaving the Republican Party, and I can't blame them. But
Mr.
What's this read?
I got two texts here. I'll read them to you. Mr. Biden's on vacation again. I hope he stays off the beach. Remember him walking in the sand? He looked pathetic.
okay, I saw that video. It's pretty tough walking in the sand as
It
it
is,
is.
I
But when
agree.
you're 80-something, it's even tougher.
What's declining faster, Joe's brain or the media ratings? On that note, what are we going to do when news media goes out of business? Who's going to keep our politicians in check?
Well, I feel like a good part of news media has been taken over by the streams of YouTube media because it's more honest.
Eileen, you being an elected official in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, okay, you're on the school committee. And how many times in your career, we'll say in 2024, this year, 2024, how many times did a news agency, be it an online thing, or be it paper or electronic, whatever, how many media people were in touch with you in 2024?
One.
One.
And it was about the cell phone policy.
And
I was
what-
on the news.
So that was a TV reporter called you?
Yep.
Okay.
Called and emailed.
So
Yep.
Lowell Sun never,
And
radio
I,
station didn't call you? Nobody, just one TV reporter called you over the year?
I mean, Jerry Nutter used to have me on over the year. I'd say.
But called you on a specific issue?
Okay, yeah, one.
Okay, thanks. It's gonna get worse when there's no media.
There was also a Boston Globe reporter that reached out, and I forget what it was, but we could never connect.
So two.
Excuse me, but Eileen brought up the fact that media's not going away.
Yes, they are.
Old-time mainstream media is going away, and it's being replaced by social media.
Social media.
Yeah.
I mean, the post that I see on Facebook telling me that Cliff Krieger is only 5 feet tall. It's ridiculous stuff you see. It's not verified. In my career, the interviews that I've had yesteryear, they were verified by two different people. They'd call you friends. When they would do news articles about, who cares what I was doing, but when I got interviewed, they would call two of my friends to verify my story. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, and I think one of my big, I mean, everybody knows that I dislike Donald Trump, and one of my big problems with him, of many, is his attack on the news media. Now, I'm not going to say that there's not a lot of slants, a lot of sides being taken. CNN and MSNBC, ABC, NBC, they have a liberal bent, and they lean towards the left.
Progressive.
Progressive, if you want to call it that. Same thing with Fox News.
I'm a liberal.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll go with that. But same thing with Fox News, America One, they're slanted to the right. But when he stands up there at a rally and points to the back row of news people and just and continuously shouts fake media, that's a problem, because the media, like it or not, they're still the fourth branch of government. And like John says, we need that to point, if something happens, we need it to point out what's going on in our government. I don't think they've been doing the best job of it in the last, since the beginning of this century. But we still need the news media.
Publicly paid for
worse.
media, NPR,
Yeah.
is strictly Democrats. They don't care for Republicans.
Yeah.
And they should not be funded. They should be unenrolled. They should not have any party affiliation. Then we can pay for the broadcast. But other than that, where they hate Republicans and they love Democrats, we shouldn't be paying for it. And I enjoy watching C-SPAN on weekends. It's actually on right now. If you go to Channel 44, there's a call-in show that starts at 7 every day, and you get calls from all over the United States.
Yep.
And unfiltered, and people can say whatever they want. They did recently change to a 3-second delay because they got caught too many times saying bad words, so they police themselves.
Yeah, I think that's been on for years. I remember watching in the 80s and 90s where they would just take calls all across
And
the
to
country.
me,
Brian Lamb was one of those.
It's very democratically leaning,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, I've been able to get on there probably like 4 times. I've been able to call into the show and
Yeah.
say my piece.
Yeah.
As long as they allow both sides to.
But all that stuff's going to go away. Over the Christmas parties that I went to, okay, sitting there with one of my nieces, and she works for Anheuser-Busch, the beer company. And I asked her, so advertising-wise, how are you guys doing your advertising? How do you pick? And she said, Uncle John, we love sports. We go after sports. Wherever sports is going to be, we're going to try to put our advertising dollars there. We do have a certain amount of, we're looking at social media, every one of them, from TikTok to Facebook. We look at every single one of them to promote our product. And how about broadcast TV, like Channel 4, 5, 7, 11?
Right.
And she said, we're pushing away from that.
Yeah, and they're when I was on.
And she works for Anheuser-Busch, so, and that's what my takeaway from what she said.
So I feel like the news stations are also pushing towards those social media venues as well, because when I was on the news that time, my 10 seconds, maybe 5 to 7 seconds of fame, my friends were calling me and saying that their kids saw me on TikTok, because that's the news media channels are pushing into TikTok and Snapchat and all of those to get out there at the same time. And then I remembered I was in a movie too.
Oh.
You were
I was
in a movie?
It was called Culture Shack of Shattered Hopes.
So, John,
Yes.
what about this lawsuit that Trump had? He won, what, $15 million plus $1 million of lawyer fees?
Okay, just this text real quick. The media, especially in this state, are dishonest. Interesting point. Thank you for your comment.
Do you think that was fair of him to go after Stephanopoulos that way in the station?
He has a right, but he's very litigious, isn't he, Donald
He
Trump?
is.
And he, if you make an enemy out of him, he's going to go after you. Hey, look at if what Stephanopoulos did was slanderous and libelous, then yeah, he did. I mean, what he said about, the word he used, he was found guilty of that in a, was it a civil trial? But what he was saying on the news station, I guess he was told not to, and he repeated it 15 times. Hey, he was awarded the money. It's going to go, I guess, to the library.
Presidential library, yes.
I don't know, it'd be interesting. A Trump library. What's that one book?
What had happened that Stephanopoulos had said? I remember hearing about it, but I never really.
He repeated over and over that Trump was accused of, or was found guilty of rape.
Oh, okay. Which is crazy. Well, I mean, I don't think people realize how much, like, saying these things destroy a person and who they are.
Well,
Well,
Doesn't mean
Eileen,
it wasn't
since,
true.
since I've been a hobbyist at this local media thing, being at the radio station or being here, it's a hobbyist thing. I was always taught that we can complain all we want about elected officials and local, state, and federal government because they can't sue us. And a lot of us in media, especially hobbyist media like ourselves, I mean, hobbyist, I don't get a red cent for doing this, this is my hobby, like golf. I don't want to get sued. And now I have to, you know what? I can't say anything bad about the vice mayor. I can't say anything, and I'm just using the lieutenant governor. I can't say anything bad because they can sue me. So I was surprised Trump was able to sue the media.
yeah, I mean, opinion is one thing, but just saying something blatantly false about someone is another.
He's a public official, and we see lies about politicians every day of the week in the media.
Now, you take someone like Matt Gaetz. Who does he sue? You can't, I mean, it was a congressional report. Does he sue Congress over that? I mean,
And and then you have to think, at what point does it just become slander and just defamation of character? I think unless you're targeted for those things, you don't realize the impact of it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
where Trump was calling it the fake news all the time, now he's just firing back with, now you can read this legal note. Like, read this legal note. Don't do this. Like, let's go to court. Let's stop this because it's not helping this world.
So I was a little confused about the Matt Gaetz thing. Let's see what this says.
The government used the media as a propaganda tool. Every story back in February 2020 was COVID, nothing else. The shutdown was a disaster, and the people in the media were the biggest cheerleaders for Dr., I think it should be Fauci.
no, they use that word deliberately to call him a fraud. Fraudchi.
We learned not to trust them. The COVID shutdown ruined a lot of stuff,
And at the time, I didn't
family
realize
gatherings
it.
included.
You know, and it was tearing because we didn't know, but when I look at the impacts of especially school-age children now, the impact has been devastating on just academic-wise, social skills. The kids don't take learning seriously. They feel like they're there to just watch you teach and they're not accountable for anything because they think being on the screens kind of caused that for them. And then you look at academics, and where I'm a special education teacher, in Methuen, you're getting so many referrals for kids to get tested now in like sixth grade, the higher grades where you don't usually see it. And it's because these sixth graders are going to be behind because they missed first grade and second grade because of COVID.
Well, it's puzzlement to me, Eileen, why we promote these children to the next grade. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody passes. I can't read, teacher. I know, honey. Good luck. Enjoy your life.
And then the teachers are expected to teach at grade level. And so what happens to the kids that's so low that ends up acting out? And then behavior is an epidemic problem.
Robbie Hoey, a frequent flyer here, he demonstrates to everybody how terrible it is that you can't. He couldn't read. Couldn't read all through grammar school. He learned to read when he was I believe in the Army, he learned to read. But before that, he faked his way through grammar school. And if that goes on even through today, you don't have to fake your way anymore. How many days can I skip the whole year and still get promoted? Likely, yes.
And I think it just goes back to, you know, there's no more accountability. People aren't getting fired. They're getting moved. You know what I mean? And it's the same in education. We're growing kids with no accountability, and how do you instill it when nobody has accountability? And it's
But-
just,
Yeah, but I take a different view on the whole COVID thing. Look, there was a big story and everything was COVID, but I think rightly so. I mean, it was a huge story. We hadn't seen anything like that since the Spanish flu in 1918. Dr. Fauci, I thought he did a fairly decent job. I know the media on the right and the conservatives had a problem with it. Donald Trump could have fired him if he wanted to, and he didn't. And he served under, I think, 3 or 4 other presidents before Trump. Look, I'll defer to Eileen. She's a teacher. I mean, the only thing I've done is taught a substitute teacher. But I think the kids are more resilient than that. I think that if they were set back so far, then it's a problem with the educators, not the children. I mean, they lost a year, they lost 2. I think there was I don't know, say a disinterest in learning, but before that, but
I work with some, honestly, and I hate to interrupt you, but
No.
I work with some of the best educators, I would have to say, that I have ever met in my life in Methuen Public Schools, honestly. And there's only so much even a great teacher can do who's been teaching with fidelity when a kid is so far behind and has just been passed on. And the whole education system is broken, and I say this often. I mean, the state gets the money from the federal government, and then what we're doing isn't breaking it down.
$17,000 per student, taxpayer funded, and there's no inspection that works. Can you imagine buying a car and never having to get an inspection sticker?
Oh, thank you for saying that. I need to get an inspection sticker.
Cliff's want me to zoom in on that, Cliff?
I got 2.
Did you send it in text?
No,
All right, I'm gonna get
I sent it to you a week ago.
We'll see if I can get it up there.
Honestly, and it's tough.
So I was crossing the Concord River with my grandson, who's 22, and I mentioned Ralph Waldo Emerson. He'd never heard of him.
Well, it happens to other people, too. So what do you want us to know about this? I'll get rid of the, let me get rid of the graphics.
The U.S. is one of the top per pupil spenders in the world. Tell me, John, how much more money till you admit it's not the money?
So the money is going up at a very sharp angle, but the educational benefit is hardly moving.
And I think it's very top-heavy with administrators.
Hang on. This is, that's the next chart.
All right, go ahead.
You can see.
And administrative staff, teachers, and students. So which one is hold on, so.
The
82%
administrators is the top line.
82% is.
That ain't gonna clear
administrators.
up. I'm stuck with that.
And then the principals at 37 and the teachers at 8? I mean, I would suffice to say that a lot of that money needs to go into more professional development for teachers. And honestly,
We're good, Cliff.
the system's broken. That the money isn't being proportioned right. And unfortunately, kids aren't getting what they truly need in school.
How-
They're taken care of, they're loved. But every student, there's not equity. We can't give every student what they need, where they are at. And it's unfortunate because every kid does deserve that. I think we need to build better programs and have like almost a tweener. Like if you don't pass 3rd grade, you're in a grade 3 to 4, a transition class until you can build those skills. Or a language-based class for kids with disabilities and true dyslexia. So we're not spending money on sending students out of district, creating our own type of specialized learning center so that everybody does try to get what they need. If, more behavioral programs. So kids that have those behavioral issues are placed in schools that can really tend towards them.
Oh.
A language-based, there are so many kids with just true dyslexia that need the Orton Gillingham or Wilson, and we're really not providing that because we're not giving that time. And if we don't put the time into breaking down these programs for these kids or giving kids the type of transition program if they did fail or they were absent so many days, I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Now, let me ask you
honestly.
this, and this isn't a new problem. Is class size still a big issue?
The government had mixed messages during COVID, especially President, that's a laugh Biden. He had no clue what was going on.
Oh, excuse me, Donald Trump was the president during COVID, so I don't know why he said President Biden.
doesn't-
A lot of
They were
people
both
seem to forget.
president during
Well,
COVID.
yeah.
Well, I think all we had to do was trust in Fauci at that point, right? Because we didn't know. We aren't medical professionals, right? Fauci was the medical professional, and Trump at the time trusted in him to make those choices, and we shut everything down. So never mind that the education system is broken, throw COVID in the mix and the impacts of that. I mean,
Let's go back to John's
okay.
question about class
Class
size,
size.
because I've been in a class of 30-some students.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed a little large.
Right.
When discipline was in place.
Yeah.
I had the same size class. When sister walked into the classroom, you could hear a pin drop.
Well, there was respect. That's what.
There was discipline.
It was also a private Catholic school, too.
You, go out in the corridor, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And, I didn't want to you get kicked right out of class, and you better wait by that freaking doorknob. You take a walk in school, your parents are going to come down and take you
But
home.
was that a private Catholic school?
Yes.
That's the difference there. I mean,
Oh,
public
no,
school.
even public school.
Yeah, that-
Well, I'll be holy will tell you, look at, my teachers used to hit me with a
Right.
ruler.
Right.
I get hit in class.
Yeah. Never
And
applied
it was
today.
very
It
effective
depends
learning tool.
on the school system. My wife subbed in 3 different school systems when we were in Alaska. DOD school on base, kids learned lots of discipline. Catholic school downtown Fairbanks, kids learned lots of discipline. public school in North Pole, Alaska? Not so much.
Right.
Because the teachers didn't have much discipline.
Yeah.
The education started to break down on October 17, 1979, when Carter signed the Department of Education Organization Act into law. Interesting comment. The laws do have to get changed. The fact that the mothers rule the world. So you discover that your kiddo is dyslexic. The kiddo can't read because the words are all over his or her eyes, and they just can't process like we do. And the mother says, I don't want my kids in the class with the cuckoo kids. My kid's going to go to regular class. That's got to go away. The kid belongs in a special class to help that kid excel. Does anybody disagree?
No. And we need the funding to just make this happen also.
Yeah, I
We need not to
disagree.
label it because it's rampant.
But I think the point is in that those charts that funding has been made available, but it's not being utilized in the right way.
Appropriately. I completely agree.
And our teachers underpaid?
I mean. we
Everybody's
still-
underpaid. Who are you trying to kid?
We're
You
still
under-
not-
Everybody's underpaid. Give me more money.
And Methuen, we're still in negotiations and don't have a contract. I mean, this is still
But
negotiating.
let's go back to John's thing. I'm not sure that that's a solution. I believe the solution is for the school department to go out and recruit people to do after-school education with children.
But
That
that-
worked for me.
Okay,
I
Cliff,
did not read, and
suppose you-
then I got the help.
Suppose your parents decided, they bring you to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor says, yes, Clifford needs glasses. And your mother says, Cliff, that's silly. I'll just pray for you. You don't need glasses. I'll just pray for you. Okay, where do you think your career would be today, Cliff, if you didn't get glasses? If your mother said, I'll just pray for you. Never mind that doctor, silly doctor, that was
I'd be a school teacher somewhere.
You think you would have glasses? At what point, you couldn't get glasses until you're 18. Your mother doesn't want you to wear them. That's the America we live in.
Well, that's exactly it. It's America we
Yeah,
live in.
It's divergent from what I was saying.
We live in a different time. Like, as you mentioned earlier about Bob Hoey, even in a public school, would get hit by his teachers. Back in those days, if a teacher hit you, you'd go home and your parents would hit you. Now, if someone in a public school teacher hit you,
Call a lawyer.
it's a lawsuit.
Right.
And it's, my kid's perfect, it's not his fault, he didn't deserve it, whether he did or not. So, I think it's just a sign of the times we live in. It's a different generation.
It's like a subway train accident. They interview people and say, I'm so happy, I can sue them.
Yeah.
And if anyone's looking for a special education teaching job, please apply to Methuen Public Schools. We just had a teacher retire, and we need a new special education teacher.
Are you paying Lowell's premium salaries?
I mean,
Lowell has premium salaries.
it does.
Eileen,
It does.
are we treating teachers properly? When I was in high school, the teachers got a sabbatical every 7 years
I mean,
to study. Are we doing something like that for our teachers?
no, we're not. There's
So
no
how are we
time.
upgrading them?
We're not. Well, it's on their own time that they can take classes to enrich them. But, I mean, Massachusetts just rolled out a brand-new individual education plan program, and I can speak for our district that we had no training on it. And it's like flying by the seat of our pants in trying to figure this new system out, this new program, yet everything still has to be under federal timelines, state timelines, and so it's a lot of pressure on regular ed teachers and the special education teacher who's responsible for creating these individual education plans, who is supposed to be helping other students, are consumed with meetings and working on paperwork. So a lot of general ed teachers, get frustrated that special education teachers aren't able to provide the proper services, but everybody needs to be in certain places. When I say the system is broken, I truly mean it. If you are going to be writing IEPs and testing kids, that should just be one job. And if you are going to be servicing kids as a special education teacher, that needs to be one job. And paperwork, obviously light paperwork, but it shouldn't consume you. It's almost like two jobs in one, and it's overwhelming. I mean, did I tell you guys I had to go to a private school, a Catholic school, St. Augustine's in Andover, to test a student? I was in heaven. Those kids were like raising their hands. They were speaking Spanish. I was like, I don't think I want to leave. I want to stay here. But it's just like those kids, I mean, it was such an amazing experience to see kids just engaged in learning and wanting to learn and doing the best that they can. Everyone was quiet. Everyone was well behaved. I mean, those kids' parents are paying a pretty penny to send them there. And they're taking school seriously. But in the public education world, I can't even tell you. It's like hard to even ask a student to do something because they'll ask you why. Why? Like, why are you making me do this?
I'll just say, good luck with that.
I mean, it's just.
But you have a reason, don't you?
Yes, but the fact, would you ever ask a teacher why?
Okay, this text is interrupted. I thought working in Massachusetts was all about the pension, baby. What's this accountability thing? Interesting comment. And then, if you're out, make a deliberate trip to
make
your
a million.
favorite Frank and Ernie's, whatever variety store you want to go to, and get your Mega Millions jackpot ticket, $1 billion. And if you win, give me $1 million, I can buy new cameras. And other than that, everybody should make their way to Frank and Ernie, your favorite Frank and Ernie's, wherever it might be, and get your Mega Millions jackpot ticket. It's the chance of a lifetime. Back to you guys.
1.18 billion.
I like that. Did you see all the cute babies that they had in the newspaper on Christmas Day?
No,
all
I
the
didn't.
2024 babies. One of my friend's granddaughters in there. They were so cute. I love how they did that. I don't remember them doing that prior, but all right.
All right.
So we're done.
So, President Biden went out and commuted 1,499 sentences, all sorts of people, and then he rolled back the death penalty on 37 people. He left 3 people on death row, including Tsarnaev.
Yeah.
But did he go too far with that?
Well, according to the families of these victims, yes.
John?
No. I mean, it depends on your stance. Like you said, you're not in favor of the death penalty. I'm not. I think the death penalty only works against people who are afraid to die. And I think these people who smuggle drugs and gangs, they're not afraid to die. And I think, I mean, if one innocent person dies because of the death penalty, it's one too many. We've
Yeah, that ain't my feeling about it.
No, really?
There are a lot of murders that are never solved. And I just think that public, painful execution is in order. And let's try that for 10 years and see what that does to the crime rate.
We're good.
I'm sorry, we tried that in the past.
I'm looking for the-
And it
I'm looking-
doesn't work, John.
The baby pictures.
Back when
What
we
day?
used to hang people for being a pickpocket,
Hell, you go
I'm not
back-
saying that, Cliff. I'm saying.
John, I'm saying to you, and you're cutting me off, so I'm not finishing. Back when we used to hang people for being a pickpocket, the pickpockets used to work the hangings. So there isn't much of a deterrent effect there.
I'm trying to look up the baby pictures right now, Cliff. Can I comment
Important
back?
stuff.
Can you what?
You're on your soapbox. I didn't want to interrupt you.
I'm not on my soapbox. I'm in my position as the host.
Okay, so that said,
You keep
I
hungering for,
I keep what?
hungering for.
Hungering for.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Go ahead.
That's
What do
it.
you
I'll
think,
just-
John?
I'll just do this.
I think the death penalty and killings, it's a sort of,
Painful
it's a sacrament. It's a-
Public executions are in order.
Yeah.
And when people see how much fun it is to die, they might change their mind before they become a pedophile, before they kill somebody, before they light somebody on fire on the subway.
John,
If there were public executions, painful.
address
You know,
my point, though.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not
Address
gonna-
my point about the pickpockets.
What about the pickpockets?
When they used to hang pickpockets used to work the hangings. They obviously were not
Okay,
deterred.
so Cliff, do you have a pickpocket problem when you're on this show? Have you been pickpocketed ever when you've been on the show?
No, why?
We're going to put this painful public execution on television. There'll be no pickpockets there. It'll be on television. You can either, you got this, you got your channel changer. Oh, I can't watch this, then change the channel. That's all I'm saying.
And
But
if-
I'm not president, I have no power.
Ipsy Dixit.
And if a few innocent people die, that's just collateral damage?
Yep.
Okay.
Terrible, terrible
Well,
approach.
I'm not, hey, I don't care. What we're doing is not working. Can you walk down, Cliff, 10 years ago you could walk, oh, here it is. 10 years ago you could walk down the street in your neighborhood. You can't do that now, can you?
Oh, here we go, the baby.
These are the babies that Eileen was talking about. That they had on Christmas Day and the Christmas Lowell Sun. They got these beautiful kiddos. Thanks, Eileen, for bringing
Keep
this up.
going, keep going down. I want to show you guys my friend's granddaughter. Keep going, keep going. Look at how cute they are.
Which one's hers?
Go further down. Is there another page? Where's Maddie?
These, it looks like an ad from Tufts. Yeah, looks like an ad from Tufts.
Where's Madeline? Keep going.
I'm not hearing you. Where's your microphone?
Madeline is her name.
Where's your microphone?
Oh, sorry. I was looking.
So Madeline
Yeah, is it, there may be another page.
is a Mason Wayne.
Nope.
Close.
Let me see. Let me just turn some more pages here. We'll have to see what happens.
Wrong gender.
No, I don't see it.
Maybe it was yesterday's paper?
I'll go to yesterday's paper,
Yeah.
the 26th.
No, wait, does that make?
This is the electronic Lowell Sun, which is pretty cool. You click on this thing here, and you go to archive. And so you want to look at the 26th. You click on it, bam, there's yesterday's Lowell Sun. You can look, I think you can go back 30 days. Pretty cool little toy they have here. And I really like this electronic Sun. It does a good job.
Was it phase 10? No,
I'm just going to flip through here because I'm looking for these kiddos' pictures. Hey, there's the Pope. Hey, do you think the Pope's enjoying his pizza or what? Looks a little pudgy there.
Standing out.
Hey, yeah, it's a good idea to take a ride in the car. Boy, there's a lot of eye candy out there. People decorated their houses
I'll
for
send
Christmas.
it to you, actually.
Beautiful. Sorry, kiddo, I can't find it.
I'll send it to you on Messenger, so we can give Madeline a little shout
Okay,
out.
cool. Oh, we got more texts.
So Eileen,
Yes.
there was an article in the Sun that John just ran right by
Was it
about
about
a
me?
conference. Board members resign after dangerous anti-Israeli Holocaust comments, but this has to do with the Massachusetts Education Conference. Did you follow that story?
No, I did not at all. Do you have an
There's-
article about it?
I do have an article about it, and I'll hand that article to you. I just wanted to say it's the Massachusetts Computer Using Educators Assembly. And
There we go. I did not hear
while
about
you're
this.
taking a quick look at that, I'll ask John, because of my prejudicial view, I think colleges are not doing a good job, and they're just feeding anti-Semitism. What do you think?
Babies, did you get the baby picture on Messenger?
Babies. So
I'm gonna
child
go over there
worship.
and find it. I'm just trying to process some text over here.
Are you talking about the university professors and administration that
Yeah.
are allowing this?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's a fine line between free speech and hate speech. I mean, do
Well,
we
yeah, I
suppress, do we allow them to say what they want to say and use the banner of free speech? Or do we say, well, we stand with Israel and anything pro-Palestinian is
Eileen, what
automatically
date is that?
disqualifies
Because
you?
it's not blowing up big, it's just small.
So,
Can't see nothing. Too small, see?
I'm
Oh, let's try
all
this
for
one.
free speech.
Right.
On the other
We'll
hand,
just,
I feel like the students are acting out of ignorance.
Just tell me what day it was in.
Oh,
Page
there's no
44.
shortage of ignorance on college
does it
campuses
show
today.
what page
Um,
number that is?
Guess we got a baby alert here.
So, I mean,
It
the
was on
schools
page
aren't doing
9
their
on
job.
Christmas Day, I
The public
believe.
schools
Page
are not
9?
doing
Okay.
their job.
No.
School committee members should not be paid because they're not doing their job. So what, we're counting on the colleges to educate those students? They're not doing their job.
And
Sorry,
what-
Eileen, it only goes to page.
what do you
8.
think what steps do you think they should take
Really?
to deal with it? Do you totally suppress the students' right to
No, that's 26.
speak up?
No.
Or,
No,
I mean,
you
what's the
can't do
solution?
that.
All right.
Oh, I like John's solution.
What's that? Shoot
You
'em?
take all the progressive professors out onto the football field, you line them up and you shoot them.
There you go.
And that will encourage the others.
No, you fire them, no pension. I got it, Eileen. Here we go.
Got it?
I got it, yeah.
Okay. This is my very good friend Tracy, who is,
Which kid are we gonna go
so
after?
this is Madeline Ferreira, born April 9th, 2024.
Oh, here she is, right here. Let me just do a picture of her. We'll see how it blows up.
My good friend Tracy, who knows Paula, who works here, who was a next door neighbor.
Okay.
Her daughter Corey, her beautiful daughter Madeline.
It's coming up here. Now we'll make it bigger. She's a cutie pie.
Isn't she? She looks
Madeline
like a little
Ferreira,
doll.
April 9th, 2024. Merry first Christmas, Madeline.
John?
It's not on the screen.
Oh, my God. Press it a bunch more times. Sorry.
There you go. Merry first Christmas.
Beautiful baby. Congratulations, Madeline. Hope Santa was good to you.
She missed her birthday by one day.
I did?
No, Madeline did.
Missed whose birthday?
My birthday,
Oh, you're April 8th or April 10th?
April 10th.
April 10th.
Okay, so John hit on the drones earlier because he doesn't get the notes. But someone made the suggestion that there must be nothing to the story because they asked, what does Elon Musk think? And they said, I find this to be a fascinating disconnect that there's nothing. Like he's not even resharing information from people. He continues to add it. It's like this story doesn't exist in the Elon Musk ecosphere.
Don't you mean President-elect Musk?
No,
No? All right.
no.
But isn't that where people have to really embrace neurodiversity? Because doesn't Elon Musk have autism?
I don't know, does he?
I believe so.
Huh.
Question is,
Let me fact
in
check
the future,
myself.
will we change the Constitution to allow Elon Musk to actually run for president?
No, we're not going to change that.
All right. 'cause he
Didn't
will-
let Schwarzenegger do it. We're not going to let Mess do it either.
Yeah, well,
Wasn't born here.
Okay, so John, you said you ran across this article before Congress has the power to block Trump from taking office,
yeah, I read it yesterday.
but lawmakers must act now.
Yep.
And this is based on the idea that the 14th Amendment, Section 3, says no person shall hold any office civil or military under the United States or under any state who, having previously sworn an oath to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. And this disability can be removed by a 2/3 vote of each house. So should the Democrats on the 6th of January get all up in the rafters about Trump being an insurrectionist?
No, no. I think he was. I know that's not an opinion shared here, but I think he incited that insurrection on January 6th. It just occurred to me, though, recently, though, that within the defined version of insurrectionist, we remember on that day that when he gave the speech at the office, he said he was going to march to the Capitol with the protesters, which he never did. He got in his limousine and went back to the White House. If he had actually gone down there to the Capitol with the protesters and what happened, would it have leaned more slightly to the definition of being an insurrectionist than him not being there in person? Probably so, in a sense. But look at, as far as what they're going to do, there's going to be, on that day, there will be some people that'll stand up and protest against the certification of Trump being elected president again. But I look at it this way, as someone who despises Donald Trump, who still can't believe that he was given the keys to the White House again for another 4 years. 77 million people voted for this man. They wanted to see him back in office. Give the people what they want. They voted him in. I have no problem with that. It still amazes me that many people voted for him. But I believe that the American people wanted that, just like I think they wanted Joe Biden in 2020. And Trump, screamed from the rafters week after week that he really won when we know he didn't. There was no proof. But I believe in a free and fair election, and the people voted Donald Trump in, this time in the popular vote and the Electoral College. So, he should be sworn in.
Whoever
I
just,
got a bunch more text, so just going to hold your thought train there for a second. Another trade school in the area should be priority one in this area. Cliff likes that.
I like that.
Great show today, always great having Mr. Curtis on as a guest. See, you got a fan.
There you
Oh, look
go.
at that.
Have a good weekend, everybody, and I fixed the banner. I had the wrong day all morning long, and geez, for Cliff, who loves, one of his hobbies is correcting people, he missed it. Okay, John, are you suggesting we should go back to Roman Empire days and have duels on the South Common? That's a cool idea. Just in the summertime, when the weather's nice, the city council meetings should be done, give them all a plastic sword, or, like maybe the Star Wars.
I think
The
that
Star
would be
Wars
good
source.
anger management.
Well, what you're suggesting is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. We're talking about Old Testament. Do we really want to live like that today?
If Miss McDonough hits the jackpot, will there be a Monday show? Yes, there will be a Monday show. I'll be here to brag. That's our last text for the day. Cliff, time is short. You want to zip through your agenda and see if we missed anything good?
Yeah, I wanted to finish up on what we were talking
Right.
about because it reminds me of that columnist from the Baltimore Sun who used to say that democracy is about giving the people what they want, good and hard.
Yeah, okay, I see
I
that.
can't think of his name now, just off the top of my head, but
Look, I think our biggest problem today as far as government, and I don't think it'll ever be changed because everybody loves power. We need term limits in Congress. We can't, senators and representatives, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be careers. When our country was founded, this was supposed to be something that public citizens got into, served the government, served their country, and moved on and went on to another profession. But, people are being elected in their 20s and 30s, and they're remaining until they're 75, 80 years old, and that's a problem. I don't know how you feel about it. Do you believe in term limits for Congress?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I mean, if it's good
Did
enough
you
for
s-
president, it's...
Yeah. Did you see where they
See?
found one member of the House?
It seems it's pretty popular. City council might pass that on, there's duels on the common.
If you run for city council, John, that should be one of your
No.
main points,
No, I
platforms.
won't.
So-
All I'm gonna do is demand excellence out of the city administration.
So they found a member of the House of Representatives in a nursing home in Texas, and she'd been there for 6 months.
Yeah. Republican, right?
A Republican,
Yeah.
yes.
What
Yep.
was she doing?
I think she had 12 years in Congress, and she just...
They showed her giving a speech from about a year and a half,
Yeah.
2 years ago, and she was very out of it. She was stumbling over her words.
She was
Actually, could seem
Biden-esque.
like a very, very good choice of words. I've heard of Capper-esque. This is Biden-esque.
Yeah.
By the
So-
way, did anybody get to watch It's a Wonderful Life over the Christmas?
I did.
no,
not.
Have you ever
didn't.
seen it? Have you ever seen it, Eileen?
I did. I
Okay,
have.
thank you. I was playing poker the other day with a couple of gentlemen in their 70s, and I was shocked to find out they have never seen the movie.
Oh, really?
I did
That's a
notice
great
one
movie.
discrepancy in the movie. The cemetery scene where Clarence tells George that he wasn't, Harry didn't save anybody in the service on the transport because he wasn't there to save Harry when he broke through the ice as a child. And it said he died at the age of 9, but his tombstone says 1911 to 1919, which never could have been 9 years old, so.
Oh, yeah.
But he was an angel second class, so we'll cut Clarence some slack on that one.
All right, that'll be
Yeah,
good.
Yes.
So, but speaking of Christmas movies, there's the Die Hard argument.
Is
and
Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Of course it is. So I sent John a clip, but he's not here to play it, so we'll see if he comes back in a little bit.
Why is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Because it takes place on Christmas.
Oh.
And Bruce Willis is the savior who comes.
Okay.
think
I'm
I
gonna have to. I don't think I've ever watched Die Hard actually.
I've
So
never seen the whole thing. I think some people consider the first Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie also with Mel Gibson, which was set in the Christmas period.
Die Hard.
So, no city council meeting this coming week?
No Christmas break.
And no school committee meeting?
Nope.
Yeah,
No,
well,
and
the
you-
license commission will meet next week.
Oh.
We're serious about business.
Well, you're hard workers, and
That
apparently.
is. So, hey, I asked you a question about the motion completion report out of the school department, and there were two motions that were marked as complete, but there was no action taken indicated.
But
Have you nailed that? One was Dominic Lay, and one was you.
wait, let me see. And what were they? Do you have them listed?
On the last page, look at the last page. John, I sent you a video of Die Hard. Do you have that you could run for the audience?
If I can find it, which did you send it?
I think I sent it to AOL. I don't know. Wherever I normally text.
Okay, let me just give this to you, Cliff. Send it Verizon text message. You on your phone?
Yeah?
Send it to my phone. And then we'll always know what stuff is.
All right. I may have done that. And then again, I may not have.
I'll look for your messages.
Eileen,
Oh, yeah.
the last sheet of paper.
Oh, the very last one?
Yeah,
I thought it was the last one of your agenda.
no.
Your appendix. He has appendixes for his agenda. Okay, so the motions from the history class, and it says it's completed. And when was it completed? Date of motion, and it does not have a response or, all right, so.
Yeah.
In light of current higher education campus unrest, coordinate a meeting of the chief academic officer, the appropriate high school official overseeing the teaching of history, the head of the teachers union and a member of the city council to examine the curriculum and teaching of American history and civics, to examine if the students are being
That
taught
sounds like a
about
great
American
motion.
Is this
founding
it, Cliff?
principles.
This is it.
Okay, you sent it to
Here
me.
we go. I sent it to you where?
I got it.
Okay.
You sent it on Verizon, which is good. I could just
Yeah.
scroll back and find it. I'm gonna hit play. Let's make sure the sound's up. You guys can't hear this, but.
City Hall. We'll get together. It'll be fun.
Mayor, are you in there?
No,
Remember when we said no Die Hard?
but it's a Christmas movie, Courtney. I'm telling you.
No Die Hard. Just do it normal.
Go away. From all of us here at the City of Garland, we want to wish you happy holidays and an awesome 2025. And yippee-ki-yay.
So I thought that was.
From Garland, Texas.
Yeah.
One of my friends,
Come down to
his
City
name's
Hall.
Cecil.
We'll get
He's a funeral
together.
director down there. And
Cecil.
so he tells me, oh, this has got to be 20 years ago. He just bought a new Cadillac. He says, John, boy, let me tell you something about these new Cadillacs. They had an infrared on the screen. He said, I'm driving home, I'm doing 100 miles an hour, 2 o'clock in the morning, driving home. Blue lights go on. So I'm going to try my fancy internet. I'm going to try my infrared camera. I shut my headlights off. And I just kept it going 100 miles an hour because I could see on my screen what was in front of me. And the blue lights went off. That's his story. I just got a big kick out of that. Technology back in the 90s.
So, John,
Yes.
you've been pushing financial literacy, and we've got Eileen researching FLEC and how it applies. But what about a semester of home economics for high school students? My wife's pointed out to me that there are a lot of women up here who don't know how to cook. Should they know how to cook?
Do they want to cook?
Wait a second.
I'm waiting.
There are a lot of guys who are wicked good cooks that I know. Wicked good cooks. I think we should all learn how to cook.
Yeah, why does it have to be on the woman?
We should all know how to cook. And it helps you understand the process that your mother or your dad, usually it's your mother, but a lot of my friends, their wives don't cook at all. They do all the cooking. They love cooking.
They had something like that a little high. I don't know if they still do.
Yeah.
That I took it when I was I graduated in 1982, my last year of high school at Lowell High. I took it was a cooking class. Gentleman that ran it, his name was Chef Drummy, and his famous line was he'd always take up a vegetable, the leek, and said, "Remember to take a leak," and then he would go on with his class. But yeah, it's something everybody can benefit from.
Eileen sent me this about Elon Musk. Did you want me to talk about this, Eileen?
Oh, yeah, he does have Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism spectrum disorder. He has shared his experience with ASD.
I don't know Elon Musk, but he has quite the big compound of where he lives, and his ex-wives live at the compound too.
I mean, yeah, well, when somebody.
That's what I hear. I don't know the guy. It isn't like I can call up and ask him the question. You keep your ex-wives on the compound? How does that fit with
He
the job?
has, I like 9 or 11 kids,
How many ex-wives?
3, I want to say.
Wow.
Sounds
Yeah,
right.
and he has a couple of sets of twins as well. Not only one set of twins, which I found very interesting.
So, last minute and a half. What do you think about Doge, John?
I think it's a decent idea, but I think
Elon Musk, he's been married 3 times.
I think the people that Trump has chose to run it is a bit questionable.
Probably a good one.
Not a big Vivek fan.
No?
No, are you kidding? He's just he sucked up to Trump. Said during the debates that January 6th was an inside job. So Trump, as he's doing with all his cabinet positions, if you're a Fox News employee that's talked highly of him or stroked his ego, you're going to get a position in my cabinet. So
John, have you ever interviewed anybody for a job?
yes,
Okay. Do you think they're giving you a song and dance?
sure. But you always have their resume in front of you.
That's what
that you
an
can check
interview is
on.
all about. And you take a WAG, which is a wild-ass guess, if this person's going to be good for the organization or
Honoristic
not.
estimate, please.
So on Monday's show, we got Cliff, Eileen, Fru, and Mike. Got no guests on Monday. That's the Monday show. And you have 10 seconds. You have 5 seconds, Cliff.
Well, happy Hanukkah to everyone. This is the second day of Hanukkah.
And happy Kwanzaa.
And maybe Monday we'll talk about why Hanukkah should be important to Americans. And that's it. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you
Monday.
next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.
I was going to say Happy New